Boston Banner Band. I have Crosby, KJ Green, and I am Bree. So when we left off, not really much has changed, except everything has changed in the drama department for the Celtics. So much to talk about. I honestly don't even know where to begin, but I guess we can talk about what just happened last night. First game back from the All-Star break, and they had to go to Milwaukee to take on the #1 seed in the East.
And best record in the NBA, I think.
Best record in the NBA, right? They're beating out Golden State.
In their house.
In their house. Celtics aren't doing good on the road this year. They are 14-14. Last year they finished the season 28-13 for road games. So Celtics are not doing as hot as we thought that they would do from the start of the season.
Yeah, playing well at home, but that's really all that's keeping us in the mix.
Yes, they're 23-8 so far at home, which is a surprise because usually they're a better road team. So a lot to discuss. They lost the game by 1 point. At one point, they had an 11-point lead in the first quarter over the Bucks.
They were killing it.
They were doing really well. So what happened?
Yeah, they did look
Even
good.
at halftime, we were down by, I think, six or four, whatever it was. I was like, this game's in the bag. I felt like we had them, and obviously it came down to the last possession. I still think that we should have had them.
Well, of course.
Whatever.
Who had the last possession, though? Who had the last possession?
Kyrie has to, right?
Is he not the closer?
I mean,
it has to
he
be
is.
in his hands, right? Why, though? Why does it have to be in his hands? Tell me why.
It wasn't a terrible look, but I feel as though the team, especially management, feels obligated to give him that last look, just because if they don't,
it wasn't meant for him. It was meant for Mook.
I heard that.
Kyrie was the second option.
Yep.
Obviously, the first one didn't work. The second one did work.
Well, with 3 seconds left, I mean, come on. I felt like I was watching it in slow motion. I'm like, go faster, go to the hoop, what are you doing? It was just way too slow, not a good look. He was off balance, tried to do a fadeaway, not quite sure what's happening. He was 2 for 12.
Yeah, he came back.
3 quarters.
Ice
3 quarters
cold.
of a game.
Ice cold after the All-Star break.
I'm sorry, how are you ice cold?
Right?
If you played 25 minutes in an All-Star game, after sitting out back-to-back games for the 11th time this season, you have missed 11 games. You've missed 11 games regular season with your team, but you could go to an All-Star game to be with, prolific talent that you find yourself laughing and giggling with KD so much so everyone seems to think that now you want to go to the Knicks with Kevin Durant next year.
I mean, obviously there's going to be that speculation.
Of course.
The media is going to make everything that they can of any small situation, but at the same time, he has no excuse to come back that cold.
Absolutely not.
He's fully rested.
No.
He didn't even really exert himself too hard in the All-Star game.
He's your boy, tell me.
He was facilitating, but...
He's your boy, he's your point guard, is what you wrote today.
Welcome to Boston Banner Bound, a.k.a. Kyrie Irving's funeral.
Yes.
They just want to hate on my boy.
Rest in peace.
It's not that I want to hate on him.
He's a superstar.
He is, for sure, but I feel as though he should be performing then. Nothing's given.
Thank you.
Nothing's given.
13 for 35 last night.
He came through in the fourth.
Okay, yeah, and I don't know why, I don't know how, but somehow he ended up being the leading scorer last night.
Because he's the best player on the team.
But I'm sorry,
hands down the best player on the team every single night.
Absolutely.
Every single night he's the best player on the team.
I agree he's the best player on the team, but what I just think is tough is that there's some sort of mentality that we have to force feed him the ball even if there's a better look. And it's like, you could have fed Al, you could have gone to Mookie, you could have gone a lot of other plays on that last play.
I'm a team basketball
guy.
But
I feel as though, and these Celtics have always been team ball, right?
But
I feel as though
Irving is not team ball.
They felt obligated to give it to him on that last possession, and
because if you don't, like what you said to me off camera, if you don't give him the ball, they're afraid of hurting his feelings or something or making him upset.
You're worried
he's like a fragile human. Like, okay.
He's a superstar.
But he's not playing a team sport.
He deserves everything.
For sure.
Anything he wants, he should get.
Agreed, but
if he was producing wins, sure.
Word.
This was if they were the first seed in the East, sure. But they're 5th, mediocre right now. Mediocre.
I'm just happy he's healthy. He's healthy right now.
Hey, he played in the All-Star game, so he better be healthy,
right? It's better when he's not healthy. It's better when he's on the bench, honestly. Last year they were 25-16 without him. He missed 41 games. 41 games last year. They went 1 game away from winning and going to the finals against the Warriors. 1 win away, 1 LeBron win away from that. Without Irving, without Hayward.
We're past that. We're past that.
Are we past it?
We are. We're on to this year, and really, we should be.
This year, 11 games he's missed, they're 9-2.
We should be a better team with him on the floor. I think we still will be. But
how?
as of right now, you brought up an interesting quote to me earlier that Terry Rozier was asked, like, hey, how are things when Kyrie's off the floor? And
because they saw that he sat out. So Irving sat out back-to-back nights, which he's been doing multiple times throughout last year and this year, and they were on a 2-game win streak with him on the bench. And Rozier was asked, do you think this is a real issue? Like, do you think it's really Irving, which is why you guys don't have as much team assists, why the ball doesn't move as well, why it's not as fluid with Irving on the court?
And he gave a pretty interesting
And
response,
what did he
right? Yeah, he was like, when Irving's on the floor, it's like we sit back, we watch the show. He's obviously the best player in the court, just like you're saying.
Yeah, they're in awe of him. They're kind of like,
when Crosby talks, we all listen because he's the best guy on this show.
But is that kind of negatively affecting the team chemistry in regard? So they're saying that when he's not on the floor, they feel like nothing's guaranteed.
Right.
They have to manufacture their points. They don't know who's going to step up, who's going to, But when he's on the floor, everyone sits back and expects him to, and everyone has off nights. He's a superstar, but everyone has off nights. But like, they need to find a balance and
no consistency.
And meld him in.
There's no consistency because if it's not Irving getting 20 a night, who else would you look at on the roster right now and say consistently, yeah, that person's going to get me 20 a night, if not Irving?
It's tough, right?
It's really tough. Like, you could say Tatum in a couple of years, but not right now.
Not right now.
Consistently,
I mean,
not consistently.
but he has the package to do it, though. He could do it. Jalen also, but
They just got to put together a couple more things.
Jalen, I feel like, is lacking confidence, and the only reason I say that is because he feels more comfortable coming off the bench and playing versus the second unit of other teams than matching up against their best competition.
So listen to
he
this.
feels like he has more opportunity in that regard.
Listen to this stat. So in the first 19 games that Jaylen Brown started, he had 0 games with 20 or more points, okay?
He had an
0.
awful start to the
Zero.
season.
Correct.
Pretty brutal, yeah.
But did he really have many games in 20 points or more last year? Not many.
I would say at least like...
In his first 19 games coming off the bench, he's had 9 20 or more games. So he said it himself when asked, do you feel a type of way because you are now coming off the bench because you were a starter? He said, I get more opportunity in the second unit, and I make that second unit my guys. Like, I'm getting more looks.
But I mean, you better be able to perform better against worse competition. Do you know what I mean? Like, good.
Judging
like,
from the Celtics' track record, do they really play well against bad competition?
So as long as his morale...
I'm nervous about tomorrow.
Me too. And aren't you going there?
Yeah, I'll be in Chicago tomorrow.
That might be you. You might just go see some Broadway shows instead because Celtics probably are going to put on a performance in Chicago.
Nah, I disagree.
No. We'll take
I disagree.
Care of business.
Yeah.
I think Gordon will be back.
So at this point, we're past the All-Star break. Every game matters. These guys...
How many left? 23 of them.
23, yeah.
They all do matter.
Like it or not, everything is very important at this time. If we want to even have a chance at catching Toronto or Milwaukee, you got to just you can't play down to competition like they've done in the past. You need to show up every day. Killer mentality.
A lot of people have been saying that the 1 and 2 seeds are already out of reach.
Right?
Well, they're 7.5. They're 7.5 games back from the Bucks, which is kind of hard to do with 23 games left. You have to also see what the Bucks schedule is like if it's heavy or if it's crap teams.
We have a really tough
very
schedule.
difficult.
Celtics
Very difficult
do have
after the All-Star break.
schedule, but that's actually good for them because they play up to the tough
Build
competition.
some spine here, Build momentum. They always show up to play against the top teams.
Yeah.
So keep throwing top teams at us. Don't let the foot off the pedal. It's crazy. I respect Giannis's game so much just because he has that killer mentality. They're up 30. He's still going for the throat.
He's hungry.
Whereas the C's, they'll be up 28 versus the Clippers and then just let their foot off the gas. What we can do by playing these top tier teams is take a little bit out of those games and use it moving forward.
Well, yeah, so Marcus Smart was saying it shouldn't matter what team we're facing record-wise. Just play the team that's on the court.
Show up to kill them.
Just play the team that's on the court.
Last night, Marcus Smart had me happy. He was a very bright spot in a dome.
Unreal.
Those 2 jump balls, that's effort. It's always effort. That's consistency. That's Marcus Smart mentality, and I love
Last night just made me think about Marcus this whole season. He hasn't been that all-star guy, but he's been consistently
he brings it every
top
game.
3 every night. He's in that
Yeah, I think that's the issue, though. It's like they're trying to find how to play with all of this talent. There's so much talent. There's so much depth. It's hard for them to know what their roles are, and I feel like that's been the theme this whole season, but it's like it's March now almost. You need to know what your roles are by now. You need to accept them if you know them and don't like them, too bad. You need to accept them.
Agreed, and that's why Marcus has always, that's why we all like him, because regardless of what his role is, when he steps on the court, you know he's putting 100.
He doesn't care. Listen, he doesn't care if he starts or if he finishes.
Comes off the bench. Doesn't matter.
Think about it. Lou Williams, okay? He had 40 points right before the All-Star break.
Sweet Lou.
He is the ultimate six man in the game, and do you really think that he cares if he entered the game 5 minutes earlier to put up those stats?
No, he's still gonna eat.
No.
He's still gonna eat.
Exactly, and I think that's the issue is the minutes issue, and you can see that. Brad said it himself that that's an issue. He doesn't know how to distribute the minutes because there's so many people trying to get minutes.
And everyone's trying to get reps, and everyone's trying to buid confidence.
Right.
Hayward. Want to know who's looked incredible, though? And I just need to bring it up to you because we go back and forth about this so often.
We can talk about him.
Al Horford has looked so good.
I've already publicly apologized.
I know, but I still gotta come at you.
Horford.
I'm still gonna come at you.
Al Horford plays like amazing basketball when he's playing against the team's best player.
Agreed.
Embiid.
Agreed.
Last night he was killing Giannis.
Agreed.
100%.
I loved it.
He had a season-high 7 offensive rebounds. He had a total of 17 rebounds last night. Double-double. He's been averaging a double-double the past 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, playing tip-top.
Playing phenomenal since the win over the Sixers. Obviously, the Celtics just own the Sixers. That's been pretty clear. They won that series 3-0. However, the Bucks, with the win last night, the Bucks are now 2-1. They now won that series, and that was the first time in 4 years that the Bucks have beat the Celtics in a regular season series. So that's kind of tough to swallow. But listen, Celtics are now back in the 5th spot. They worked their way up to the 4th. They've been tied with the Sixers, but because, like I said before, the Celtics record with the Sixers, they're leading that series 3-0, or they won the series. That means that if they are tied, when it comes down to the seedings, they will take the higher seed. So right now it's Bucks, Raptors, Pacers, Sixers, Celtics, Nets, Hornets, Pistons, and there's been some, down at the bottom there, the Magic and the Heat are trying to fight for that 8th spot against the Pistons.
Wizards too, right? They
and the Wizards
want
a little
to maybe
bit,
make a playoff
but
run.
I don't know
There's
because
time.
of the Beal going down. That's hard.
They don't. There's time, but
there's time, but there's not time.
They're one of those teams that on paper they should have at least been able to make the 8 seed.
Yeah,
but real quick, back to Al.
Yes.
Last year, I felt like he played well and he's always been good, but when it came to him matching up against elite talent, like another elite center like Joel Embiid, he got exposed. This year, it's agreed 100%. This year, with Baines being out a lot, Al has been forced to step up. For example, versus Embiid and the Sixers, unreal performance. Next day, the Pistons. We're talking Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Like, he's got to be gassed after dealing with Embiid. No, he put up another unreal performance. Like, this guy is playing top of his game right now. It's really good to see. We need that, especially because he's a veteran. He may have the ability to maybe, if he takes that leadership role that everyone's doubting Kyrie's able to take, maybe if Al steps up, guys get under him.
Well, he's a vet. He should take that leadership role.
You perform well, people listen to you. That's all it comes down to.
Al Horford, they said it last night. He made the playoffs every year of his career.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a pretty cool stat.
That's
right
unreal.
There.
That's a really cool stat.
That's a pretty cool stat for.
That's awesome.
But you can see that, like I said, last year he was he was quiet, but he did, produce. This year, much more loud.
Yeah.
He has to, though. It's one of those things where he's being forced to be a leader.
More
and
of a
to
rim
show
protector,
it.
too.
Yes.
Like, instead of just
There's
a
no size.
facilitator.
With Baines out, and Tice not really, sure what Tice's role is. Time Lord Williams, I think he's in a space-time continuum because I've literally.
Way to go.
Where is he? Seriously.
Yeah, it's weird.
Literally have not seen him.
Free R.J. Hunter.
Hey,
where's R.J. Hunter?
I want to see R.J. Hunter come in and bang a 3 or 2.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. There's just no size.
Smooth stroke.
There's no size, and it's all falling on Horford's shoulders to be the size and to go up against these elite big men.
He's not backing
down.
And
he's doing a really good job. Again, at the beginning of the season, it was a little rocky because he was injured, so he was also putting himself on restricted minutes. It wasn't even a doctor's thing. He was putting himself on manageable, restricted minutes.
Yep, it's kind of precautionary.
Yeah, precautionary, and wasn't doing back-to-backs. But now that he's really hit his stride and he got to rest that knee, he looks phenomenal. A completely different player.
Yeah, agreed.
Looks amazing.
Unreal.
Unreal. So again, yeah, the Nets are 15 games back, so the 6, 7, 8 spot, we're not worried about that.
I have a question. As we were talking about how good Al's played last night, who do you guys want the ball in? Like, who do you want the ball in their hands at the buzzer?
Last shot?
The last possession?
You know what? If you feel like it needed to be Kyrie, cool. But why on earth did he not just go up for a guaranteed layup? Like, why take a try and like a fadeaway, off balance look like that and try to draw a foul? Go for a guaranteed layup. Kiss it off the backboard. Like,
so
what are you doing?
We're down 1, right? We have 3.5 seconds.
Yes.
I wanted to go
time.
to a veteran that understands if you're going to take a foul, because they had 2 fouls to give. If you're going to take a foul, you need to be quick and go up in the shooting motion.
Yeah.
Because 2 free throws can be a win.
Right.
So I wanted to be Al at the post, Kyrie coming off a pick, which, whatever, there was a bunch of talk today about refs blowing calls. I don't really care about that. I think that truly we chose our destiny there. Like, we gave it to him. He had a floating driving layup that he missed. Some people wanted a foul call. I disagree. I think it was decent defense. And, if we wanted the win there, we could have gone, like you said, first option was Mook. That's fine. He's a veteran. Who I would have liked to see is Horford. He was playing unreal.
He was hot.
He's going to play around that rim, and he will draw the foul. If he doesn't draw the
he's
foul,
really good at free throws
he's a big
as well.
body. He's feeling himself. He'll make the layup.
Yeah.
It's just why do we need to go for a low percentage shot there?
And he has the size, and he's really good at just getting over a body and just trying to go up with that.
It's not like we're down 3 and we got to go for a crazy.
But you know what though? When you said we were down 1, I got a flashback in my head of last year when we were down 1 or down 2. No, I'm sorry, down 1, and in that situation, and they would go for a 3.
Yeah.
Remember how stupid that was?
Just because it's an
So
open
you
look,
see-
and it's
exactly.
a higher percentage shot.
Exactly.
It's all right.
So
it's
now
a
I'm
trade-off.
okay, I'm glad that they're being smarter about it and
Right?
at least are going for a layup or something rather than putting up a dumb 3
Yeah, we don't
when
need
you're
to
only
win by 2,
down
we need to win by 1.
Right, exactly. Or just tie it. Whatever. Do something. Do something.
Those are really tough losses though. For a team to go over there, they played
that hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
And then
shut them
lose
down
on the
in
last
their
possession.
building.
Freaking same thing the Lakers did to us last possession.
Yeah.
It kills the team to lose like
It
that.
shouldn't come down to the
Yeah.
last possession though, and you can't blame refs either, because if you if you give the ball to them, if you leave the game in their hands,
Exactly.
it's not going to go your way half the time.
We
you know
controlled
what I mean?
we put ourselves in that position and controlled our destiny. But on that Lakers, Rondo hitting that game-winning shot.
Oh,
Thank
it was
God
so
it was Rondo,
heartbreaking.
right? Thank God it was Rondo,
didn't know
though.
how to feel
If it's gonna
about
be
it.
someone, let it
But
be
it
Rondo.
still hurts.
Of course.
Oh,
It
yeah.
still hurts.
But I can
It was
kind of
vintage
take some
Rondo
salt
in the
off.
garden. He
Oh.
was just wearing the wrong jersey.
Oh, my God.
In my opinion, it was
Right?
so hard.
Unreal.
So sad.
And while we're on ex-Celtics players, just because we're all big green teamers, Isaiah Thomas coming back, making his Nuggets debut, finally, after being injured for so long.
I'm very happy for him.
Is he doing his
He
thing
had
now?
7 points in 6 minutes or something. He didn't, obviously he's restricted minutes.
Yeah, restricted minutes. He threw up a nice alley. He had a clean 3. He didn't look crazy clean on the court. He looked kind of rusty, but just happy to see him back out there, man. He deserves it. It's tough to see someone fall that far, be so high and so dear to all of our hearts, and then fall that far down,
Yeah.
man. It's unreal.
So Denver comes in March next month. That's gonna be a big game then.
Oh, I can't
Everybody's
wait.
gonna show
You know
love
he's
to
get,
Isaiah.
IT's
Well,
showing
of course,
up, man.
you have to show love to Isaiah Thomas. And it's crazy because I love and hate Facebook for the fact that it shows me my memories and it'll show me what I wrote 2 years ago today and what I wrote 3 years ago today, whatever. And I literally was keeping track of Isaiah Thomas's 20-plus point games, and he hit 40. And that's the consistency that the Celtics are missing this year, and I would do anything to get that short little guy back on my team. Honestly, because size didn't matter for him.
No.
He just played his heart
He showed
out.
up, killer mentality. AI,
Always.
that's his his leader, his mentor, right? And that was AI's.
So that's why you hate
MO.
Kyrie so much?
Here's the thing. I think there was just such high expectations and I'm going to give you the laundry list of things that's gone wrong this year and tell you what. Then I'll read you this, and then you tell me if I'm wrong for feeling the way that I feel. All right? So
if you want, we could just fast forward. You could say it after the playoffs because that's when it really matters.
Yeah, but you say that.
No, I'm just kidding. You could say it.
You say that, but I feel like every game matters. I hate when people are just like, oh, playoff basketball, it's the only time I watch it, and they're like bandwagon fans. I hate that. Play every game like it matters because it does. It's something that you love to do as an athlete, so it should matter to you.
I agree, but these days in the NBA,
it's all
like
about money. It's
teams just take nights off. Like they're like
True.
scheduled losses.
True. I couldn't agree more.
100%. I agree.
It sucks.
I'm resting.
It's a rare occurrence.
What are you resting for? This is your job. You get paid to do this.
It's just like a rare occurrence these days that both teams show up on set occasion and have a good
ready
team
to go.
Basketball game.
All guns
Do you
blazing.
remember when it was a Golden State versus Lakers matchup, and all of a sudden LeBron's like, I'm just gonna rest this game. You guys probably spent thousands of dollars to see this matchup. It's a primetime game. It's on ABC at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. But no, I'm just gonna rest today, guys. Sorry.
He did that when Miami came to Boston in the past.
What are you doing? What are you talking
and
about?
they justify it as bigger picture, right? That's what they're saying. Bigger picture, just like you're saying.
Oh, but you're in the 10th
matters,
spot in the West right now. So what's the bigger picture, that you're going to be sitting on your couch for playoffs?
Yeah, let's see if they can even make the playoffs,
They're
man.
not.
I would love it for LeBron James to miss.
And if they make the playoffs, they're the 8th seed, and then they play the Warriors in the first round and just get completely swept?
How about Christmas? They beat the Lakers on Christmas.
It's interesting.
They beat the Lakers on Christmas.
So one of our security is a huge Lakers fan, so him and I always go back and forth about it. He actually doesn't mind the fact that he's going to be a lower seed. He's aiming for the 7th seed because he wants that Nuggets matchup. He feels like Nuggets are overperforming, and the Lakers at the top of their game with the best player in the league, as everyone likes to call him, LeBron James. So it's interesting. It could get interesting.
No, anything can happen.
But the Lakers have to make the playoffs first. They got to make the playoffs first.
The NBA this year is just beyond me. Like,
awesome.
there's so much drama.
It's so exciting.
It is exciting, but at the same time, it's just like there's so much drama.
I was actually gonna ask my followers on Instagram today, what do you like more right now, the on-court stuff or the off-court stuff?
Yeah, what's
I feel like a lot of NBA fans these days like the NBA for the stuff off the court.
No. Yeah, it's attractive.
I feel
it's
some
exciting.
people don't watch the games; they follow NBA.
Disgust me.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I feel like it's
all about the game, baby. It's all about the game.
Yeah,
Come on.
Definitely.
What happens off the court? Everyone's human. There's always garbage going on. I hate it when a magnifying glass gets put on small things. Media contrives these stories, and it just kind of cyclones out of control. It's frustrating to me.
All right, well,
focus on what's going on the court.
Speaking of that, here are the top 10 media spun or not spun that has happened to the Celtics from the start of this season. So this is what it's called, Celtics issues so far this season, brought to you by Boston Bannerbound. So mediocre start. They started off the season 10-10. They had such high expectations. They were like a shoo-in for the first seed.
Right? It's crazy.
Out of the gate, they were stacked. Everyone's healthy. Boom. Celtics are the team to beat. It's going to be Golden State versus Celtics in the finals.
Right?
That's what was said.
On paper, it's there's no way we're not making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's no way.
Well, that took a turn because now they're mediocre, 5th in the East, 37-22.
Time, baby.
Next thing. After both the Phoenix Suns, which I can't even fathom that sentence that they lost to the Suns, but here we are. Celtics lost to the Suns, and then they lost to the Bucks. After both of those losses, the Celtics players held players-only conferences in the locker room, which were either a half hour, an hour long. They were a seriously long talk session amongst the players. So that was strike 2. Irving calling out the young players, part 1 I'm calling this because it's happened multiple times this season, publicly to a cameraman and an audience.
I think that was justified, though.
That's part 1. Then Jaylen Brown responded to Irving publicly again. That's strike 4. What strike are we on now? Then Morris, visibly frustrated with Jaylen Brown and pushed him during a timeout.
That was crazy.
In the middle of a game, and that got caught on camera, so that was a huge deal. Then Irving calls LeBron to apologize for what reason other than to look stupid AF. I have no idea. Yes, I know you're dying to respond to these, so I'll get through the last three. Irving goes back on his promise to re-sign. So at the beginning of the year, during a season ticket members-only practice, he felt the need for an impromptu statement to all of the loyal season ticket holders, and he said, I'm re-signing with Boston next year. It's happening. Mark it. It's happening. Now, fast forward 6 months later, and he says, I'm going to do me. I don't owe anyone anything. Stop talking to me about it.
But at the same time, that's like, he didn't actually go back on that commitment yet, so.
He's not confirming it either, though.
Yeah, but.
If you really wanted the drama to stop with the media, you'd be like, listen, what did I say? Okay, I said it. Let's move on. He's not saying that. He's kind of like egging them on. He's kind of like being like, I'm going to do me. Just wait and
fluid.
see. Yeah, exactly. And then Morris said the season hasn't been fun for a very long time. And then Irving calls out his teammates publicly yet again for the 1000th time. So, is Irving a leader? Can he be a leader?
I mean, I think he's frustrated, and his first chirping was justified.
Is he not a mini LeBron Jr.?
Definitely justified, because the young guys, I think, did lose
LeBron's
focus.
a good basketball player.
But is he a leader?
LeBron?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that he has a good repertoire with his teammates?
I think so for the most part.
Yes. I mean, skill.
Why did Irving leave Cleveland?
Because he wanted to be the main guy, and LeBron was the main guy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean,
do you think that it's okay that Irving has multiple times gone to the media and complained about his teammates? Do you think that helps or hurts the team?
I don't know what it's like to be the best player on an NBA franchise that won 17 championships. I don't know, so I can't really say it.
I mean, to that question, I think the first chirping was justified. Like I was saying, the young guys, I think, did lose their focus there. Like, they need that guidance, that stern chirp, if you will. Hey, get in line. Like, you don't know what it means to be an NBA champion. You don't know what it takes to show up every day. Clearly, they showed that. They weren't showing up every day. They play down to garbage opponents. Like, step it up. Cool. So that's a stern prod on the side, right? When it comes to continued public chirping, okay, now it's like,
well,
can you keep it in-house? Like, could you guys keep it in-house? Because as it goes down the stretch, it's like now things are important.
It's embarrassing.
But I think that he is justified in, and I will stand by him for that. It's just he's frustrated. And there's so many egos on that team, and there's not defined roles, and it's a tough situation. But what will solve all of that is winning basketball games.
Correct.
Because everything's more fun and easy when you're winning.
But they were winning. They were on 5-game spurts of win streaks here and there. But then all of a sudden they dropped 2 in a row, and now it's like it hasn't been fun. It's not fun anymore. I'm over it. It's like you were faking it, and now it's because it's so inconsistent. But my thing is this. I have 2 statements to make. I think that Marcus Morris and Marcus Smart have the best attitudes among everyone on this team. I think that they are the real leaders, and not only are they leading by example, I think that they also really care about how their teammates perform. Baines has the best attitude out of everyone, but you can't consider him a leader because he doesn't have that big of a role. But I think he has one of the biggest roles because, call it a cheerleader, call it whatever you want, he has the best sportsmanship I've ever seen. He cheers for everyone. So he's genuinely happy for everyone.
You got to think, though, like, look at these players you're talking about. You're talking about Marcus Morris, Aaron Baines. I know Morris has a kid or a few kids. I don't know if Baines does, but, like, these guys, like, basketball is their life. Yeah. That's how they support their families.
Right.
They show up, they play, they give all every single day. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, players who have the skill, have the talent, have the ceiling, just clearly aren't showing up and fully exerting themselves every day. Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, like, these guys are like, they have so much other things going on. Like, they're young.
What you're saying. Like, they're young. Their mindset isn't that.
Jaylen's got a fashion show in Paris. Like, he's chilling with Gucci. Like, Kyrie's making movies on the side. Like, they all got other things going on, which is fine. Yeah. So maybe basketball isn't their number one focus, or even if it is, there's other things going on. But I think I think we're in for a hell of an end of a stretch of the season. The guys are about to go. So that All-Star break, now every game's like big
right.
matters.
But here's another thing, though. and I know you're saying we're past that. You don't want to talk about last season, but last season does matter in the sense of these young players got starting minutes and got starting roles and went really far in the postseason. No one expected that. Like, exceeded expectations, went really far without 2 All-Stars. So maybe in their head, they're like, hey, I'm just as good as you, or hey, I didn't really need you.
Which is an issue.
Right, or I didn't need you.
That's why Kyrie's pissed.
Right, and now they're back to the bench. So I think that whole thing is an issue here because they're not over that mentality of, hey, I got to the Eastern Conference Finals without you 2. So I'm just as good as you. But again, that could be an immature thing because they're young. And maybe they are, like you said, basketball isn't their whole life, and their priorities are a little different here.
It's interesting.
I'm just really excited for like these next 20+ games to get out of the way. I want playoffs to start.
So what's your prediction? What happens the next 23 games? What's their end record after this?
Pretty rocky road. How do you feel?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. We're gonna get the 3 or 4 seed. I'll be confident with that. Whoever comes here, we're gonna wax them 4 or 5 games. Then we're going to have to go to either Toronto or Milwaukee. And I think we could kill Milwaukee. And the Raptors are a tough team to play in Toronto. That's going to be interesting.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's our road right now.
But do you think that the Kyrie Irving drama, because again, he just went to the media again because they were trying to make this speculation about the Kevin Durant stuff and everything else, and he's just fed up with the media, fed up with it all. He's kind of having that negative attitude. Do you think he can overcome this and move on from it?
Like, I'm really nervous. Like, Kyrie's getting like 50% hate right now, 50% love from the Boston fans / media.
Right.
And it really sucks because right now he's in green. We're about to go on a really good playoff run. Like, people should be supporting him no matter what until the summer. Talk about it in the summer after the season's over.
Yeah.
Like, he's just getting a lot of hate. He doesn't make it any easier, like, the things that he's saying.
Thank you. Yes.
However, like, I don't know what I would do with a camera in front of my face every day. Like, people asking me these stupid-ass questions.
Agreed, right? He's a human, too.
It's repetitive questions, too, which I'm sure is hard. But that's also the beast of this. And, again, what you were saying with the off-court drama, it's the media, they try and get those types of reactions out of these players to make a headline, for them to get angry, for them to do something stupid and make news about it. So he's just not handling it well as a 26-year-old trying to take on a franchise, like you said, winning, successful franchise, and be the face of it. It's really hard for him.
And once you do it to somebody like him that likes to, like, say these crazy things out of his head, like, you're gonna look for that next answer.
He still hasn't lived that down.
He has the package though. He has the skills to just go off every game.
Hell
yeah. He's a great individual
It's just the pieces around him need to fit, and like, I'm actually, like we were talking about earlier, I'm grateful that the second stretch is going to be a difficult stretch. We got to go places like Toronto, play in Toronto. Like, it's going to be a hard stretch of games, but hopefully,
face the Rockets.
Hopefully that serves to build momentum. Each tough step we take, we always play to our competition. This last Bucks loss, obviously tough, but we did put the clamps on them defensively in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
This is a team that's scoring 120, 130, sometimes 140 points.
Yeah.
We took Robin Lopez out of the game.
Under 100, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
98, 97.
We can take away positives from this, and hopefully they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I would hope.
And we also have one of the best coaches in the NBA, Brad Stevens, that as tensions get high and as tempers flare, hopefully he's able to kind of act as an anchor to really keep these guys mentally engaged, because that's what we need. We have the talent, we have the pieces. We're one of the most deep teams in the NBA.
Yeah,
it's just about these guys showing up and performing and putting everything out there, leaving it on the court.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Brad Stevens' playoff experience show off this year.
Agreed, man.
It's gonna happen.
Love it.
And it's unfortunate that Hayward did hurt his other ankle. He was really getting going there. We saw him really start to come alive before the All-Star break.
He's exploring what he can do. He's like kind of trying to transform into maybe like a 3-point.
It's like a marathon
sniper.
here. It's a marathon.
I don't know, man.
He said he likes to facilitate.
I just hope he's getting he's good defensively. I hope he's just getting more comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
So once playoff time comes, he understands who he is and his limits and his boundaries, and he can just play to his full potential. Because
you add him to our roster, man.
But watching him out there, do you guys agree? Watching him out there when you feel like he's not playing up to his potential,
it sucks.
And second guessing himself and not doing things you know he can do, we know he can do. just he may be doubtful. It's frustrating, man.
Yeah.
It's frustrating,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It is, but like, just think about the future and how bright the tunnel is at the end. Like,
If we can keep
Yes.
things together.
and then add him to that equation come playoff time, like 20-something points.
Yeah,
Man,
you don't need
man,
to be.
let's go.
You don't need to be the 1 seed to win a conference. You know what I'm
LeBron
saying?
proved
Proved
that.
that multiple times.
You know, he proved seeding really
Does
doesn't
not
matter.
matter.
It's what you
Doesn't
do.
matter.
It's what you do in the playoffs once playoff times come.
Correct. So hopefully, no matter where they land in the seedings, we will come back and we're going to talk about playoffs, the playoff picture, how they ended up, and if they can work together as a team. And like they said, when you're winning, you're having fun.
Exactly.
You're having
Everything's
fun.
easier when you're winning.
You're right.
That's all there is to it.
All right, this has been Boston Bannerbound. Happy Friday.